Okay, let's see if we are live right now. Does not look like it. Let me check, see what's going on. We should be live. I don't know why it's not. Okay, now we are live. Excellent, excellent. Alright, hello everyone, Ace here, and welcome to my live stream. I have, by the way, reached 9,000 subscribers, so thank you all very, very much for that. And, yeah, so I've decided I'll be doing a multiplayer game for this live stream, and specifically, since it's November, we are going to be looking at war-themed video games. More specifically, games set in historical conflicts. So, for this reason, we are actually going to be doing a live stream of Verdun. I do hope you enjoy. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, just to make it clear, I do actually kind of know of at least one of the devs behind this particular game, because at least some of the devs I know for, or at least one of the devs I know for a fact worked on Battlefield 1918. So just putting that out there. But anyways, I do like this game anyways, so. Alright, we'll be doing front lines, but we will be creating our own squad. Now, what do I want to play as? We can pick from any of these number of squads. They all have their own play styles and, well, their own equipment. So let's see. Thinking. You know what? I'll go ahead and give the Canadians a go. Victoria Vagil says, good evening. Good evening there. Alright, so I will pick a specialist, I think. It gives me access to Ross, if I want it. I could use... This looks like a good setup right here, so I will go with that. King Tiger says, bro, you want to play Verdun? And Victoria Vaglio says, are you alright? Yeah, I'm actually doing relatively fine. Is something wrong? Alright, so we are going into the Artois region, which is... Unfortunately, there's an unbalanced penalty on this particular map because there's a lot more allied players right now. Ooh. And it looks like there are a fair number of... Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a fair number of Central Power players on this one, so that's going to be interesting. Fortunately, we have to attack, so that is going to be a bit of a problem. There we are. Oh, there's one. A lot of these guys are also, of course, bots, so that means we'll be getting some decent kills, at least. Alright. Just go under here. Blaster Jack says, I'll give the Canadians a go. Vimy Ridge intensifies. Yep. Alright, just slip under here. Hopefully. Yep, they got a whole bunch of dudes there. Okay. Let's see. What do I have that can handle that? Oh. If I can actually spawn in on this guy, we can... Unfortunately, there's a lot of artillery coming in that direction. Alright, time to make a mad dash. Oop. And I know there's more around because I can hear them. Oh, got one of them got me. Fair enough. Vittoria Vaglio says, that Steven Universe promo was cringe. Yes, it was. It's actually a PSA, but yeah, it is absolute cringe. It's amazing that these people think that stuff that done that badly is actually going to help achieve whatever it is they're wanting. Okay, it looks... Ooh. That is not a opening. Actually, wait. Maybe it is if I play my cards right. And I made it in. Alright, let's actually stay down here so they don't hit me. And that way we know that we can maintain this foothold for some time. Especially if some of my squad mates decide to spawn on me. Jacob Andrews says, Ace, what is up, you mad lad? Playing some Verdun here. And also just reached 9,000 subscribers, so that is nice. Thank you all very much again for helping me reach that. Alright, time to start clearing out the trench. Oh, they got me. But we still got more guys coming in, so hopefully we should be able to take this trench. And we are in the trench yet again. Awesome. Unfortunately, they have called for artillery, so that's a problem. Oh dear. Someone's shooting at me, and I know there's a dude flanking us there. Oh. Well, at least we got, we took out more of them, so now we have reset the timer a little bit. The way it works is once you get enough kills on the defending team, your attack gains momentum. And so long as one dude is in the trench, we have a foothold. Which is basically overtime to actually capture the trench. Unfortunately, with this being World War I, this tends to happen a little bit, where you just die on the way there. Vittoria Vaglio says, have you watched the Trump rallies? Not any of the recent ones, admittedly. What's been new with that, out of curiosity? Oh, they must have held the trench. So we have to fall back and defend our trench now. While we get shot at. Here we go. And they are definitely going to be approaching here first. I know you're there. Time to fall back. That was a ranging shot that I heard fall nearby. Now I can reclaim this and make sure they don't push in here again. That was another player, so always good to get another player. But that also means that he's seen me, which means he's probably going to be back, so just get a nice proper position there, if I can. Jacob Andrews says, at a rally in PA, Trump got 57,000 people. That's actually quite impressive. I think that's another sign that the polls are very wrong about how it's actually going to go. There we go. Oh. Alright, here they come. So I'm going to have to start defending the trench there, very importantly. And I think this calls for a pistol. They definitely have a machine gun set up from all the shots whizzing by. I guess that was taken care of already. But they do have a foothold somewhere in the trench. Now we attack. Ow. Vittorio Vaglio says, Right Side Broadcasting got more than 100,000 live spectators on YouTube for Trump rallies streaming. That is quite impressive also. That is really impressive, yes. Unfortunately, yep, there's a lot of Germans here, so we're not probably going to make headway on the left side. They're probably going to keep defending that, so we should focus our efforts on the right there. The dude I was going to spawn on is dead, so... Where on earth is that machine gun? I think... There he is. Alright, so I need to take that guy out right away. Oh, that was quick. If I can get a good angle on him, I can take him down. That dude... Okay, so... Well, we've made it into this trench at least. Ah, he got me. Well, the attack's gaining momentum, so that's nice. Unfortunately, the dude I was going to spawn on died again. That's okay. I think we might have a real toehold here, so we just need to keep the pressure on them, and we've got it. Unfortunately, there is at least one dude that's got a good beat on us. There he is. Okay. We got one of the two of them. No, don't shoot me. There we go. Ow, ow. They got me. Will Snyder says, can anyone actually picture Trump admitting defeat? You know, I haven't thought about that, but let's go ahead and make our push. Ooh. Gotta keep the pressure on them. Ooh. And they got me again. Okay. Jacob Andrews said, we had the best 4 years, folks. Probably the best 4 years in history of the world. Alright, so the center does not seem to be, or the left-hand side does not seem to be weak anymore. Seems, or no, it is the left-hand side. It's the right-hand side that's not weak anymore, so I'm guessing it's because of that machine gunner or something. But I think someone took him out, so that's good. Oh dear. So we have more dudes here to help us out, so that's good. Ow. Ha! That name! Mook says, who do you think is going to win? Will Snyder says, as a Biden supporter, I'd guess Trump. And Vittorio Vaglio says, I mean a plot for. Alright, let's see. Hopefully there's no dudes here. Alright, what I need to do is actually do this. They can't keep entering the trench if I take them out on the way there. Unfortunately, time to fall back, time to fall back. Alright, we got it. At least halfway now. There we go. Mook says at Will Snyder, as a Trump supporter, I appreciate your candor. And Mook says to me, who do you think is going to win? I think it is going to be Trump, honestly, but I am not entirely convinced it's going to be that easy for Trump to win. But I do think he is going to. It's just, I'm not overconfident, is what I'll say. Grenade, grenade, grenade. This Prince Eric guy has taken me out a number of times. Alright, Alright, so there we go. But now that we've actually captured the trench, we have to hold it from an enemy counterattack for a set amount of time, then we can... Okay, so that means that there is a dude around here somewhere that shot him. Ow! Alright, so I need to switch out. I think I'm going to go for the Ross in this. JC says... Okay, so let's see. Aaron Hook says it's not falling back, it's making a rapid advance to the rear. JC says, yo, Ace, how is it going? It's actually going relatively nicely. We have reached 9,000 subscribers, so I'm going to be doing this live stream of Verdun. Alright, so this does have the bayonet equipped. I thought it did. And Mook says, what if I told you I had been considering placing a considerable bet on Trump? I mean, I can't entirely blame you on that. I don't know how we got taken out there, but okay. There are a lot of players on this particular one, so I am dying a fair bit, admittedly. They've captured the trench, which is bad. However, they've also made the mistake of not completely clearing it of us, although they are starting to rectify that. Alright, let's go ahead and get into position here. Okay, it's time to fall back, or else have to put on the gas mask, and I don't want to have to do that again. Where are they? I mean, we've got 17 dudes in the trench right now. That means they've got a whole bunch of dudes in the trench as well if it's not getting capped. Ooh. Okay, they definitely know I'm here from there. Got him. Alright, so JC says you are close to 10K. Your channel has grown so much this year. Yes, it has. Thank you to everyone that's made that possible again. And Gallon Salsa says, Verdun is alive? Yes, it is. They've added bot support. Well, they added it years ago. But that means that it's just a simple matter of, well, playing with bots. But yeah, the game itself is still very much alive. Which is quite impressive, given it predates Battlefield 1. And it's a small indie game. And not something like a major AAA title. Ow. Alright, fair enough. But yeah, like I said, Verdun's been... The bot support has really helped because it means that you can join in, even if there's hardly any players on, you can still join in a full match. No problem. If anything, I kind of prefer playing with the bots. Ah, well. Utrecht Sun 9 says 2-gallon salsa. It's one of those games that just doesn't seem to die. It's not many players, but they are regulars. Yes. Alright, we've retaken this position, which is excellent. Apparently there was a dude chasing us. That's not a good sign. Let's see if we can get through here this way. Or, oh, ow. Or, not ow for me, but... So it looks like we've got a squad of Anzacs helping us out, which is nice. Here they come. I did not hit him, but I know there's another dude there as well. I don't think the AI was supposed to do that, so that was probably a player there. There we go. Oh dear. Mr. Dan Sand said, "Hey Ace, heading back to work now. Wanted to stop in and say have fun killing the bad guys from World War I. Or, in fact, not the bad guys in World War II. JC says what? Yeah, it's a reference to the Warhammer 40k video I had to do regarding the Death Corps of Krieg and their historical inspirations. Okay, so it looks like if we can actually keep holding this trench, we can just win. All we have to do is hold it for another 35 or so seconds and we got this. Otherwise, it's going to be a draw. Just stay in the trench. Ow. All right. Get in the trench, everyone. Get in the trench. We did it. Barely, but we did do it. All right. Yeah, and once your squad itself levels up, you get more goodies as well. We'll do Flanders, why not? I haven't done a Flanders, played Flanders in a little while. JC says, oh, I feared he was saying the bad guys from World War II weren't bad guys. Never mind then. Okay, I guess we're going to the Aisne, which means the first Battle of the Marne. Well, actually, since there's tank wrecks on this would be the second Battle of the Marne, but I digress. Well, alright, so let's actually switch out what our squad is. We can do that if we want to. Let's do Marines, why not? And that is going to give us access to the mighty pump action war crimes. Here we are. So we have to hold this area here, which is fine. Apparently that dude had a kill streak, so... Ow. That name. Okay, that's a good name. Vittorio Vaglio says, Germany uses flamethrower. Germany, no, you can't use pump action. Ooh. And killed by Lieutenant Dan. Okay. I see what you did there. So we did take enough losses that the enemy is gaining momentum, which means I've got the timer even longer now. Ooh. Apparently Lieutenant Dan has called for artillery. It looks like we might have trouble in the center or the right-hand side there, because there's hardly anyone there, which usually means there's a load of Germans here. I know it's long range for a shotgun, but hey. Well, long range for a shotgun in video games. Finian Davies says, ha, US haha, boomstick, go bam bam. Yep. Ukrainian Fedora says, oh, we now get to attack. Okay, but Ukrainian Fedora says, hey Ace, the trench gun, huh? In Resident Evil 4 merchant voice, good choice, stranger. Yep. Thank you. Ow. Alright, fair enough. Well, I kinda made it to the trench. Okay, so yeah, I think Mitch B25J has got this on lockdown over here, so I probably should make a push on another side of the map. It looks like we're making more headway here anyways, so... Oh dear, it's time to fall back. Ow. I might want... Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I'll just go with that setup. Get a proper bayonet for the shotgun here, so we can now truly embrace the pump action war crime. Ow. Maybe I should actually switch out to a different role. Maybe a base fire roll so that way I could actually use... Nah. Just thinking about it. Yeah, they definitely have this side on lockdown, so there's no point in trying to keep pushing there. Here we go. They're wanting to switch us to another type of squad. I'll go ahead and allow it, but... So, oh, apparently a whole bunch of dudes joined on this particular game in my squad. Okay. Ow. This is turning into a difficult fight. Looks like this is a good spot. Oh, flamethrower. Graham O'Connor says, congrats on 9K. JC says it's World War I when they have the place locked down, you just send more men. Yeah, that's true. Let's see, maybe we should try going around this way. We actually took it. Sending more men does work. Yeah. I wasn't exactly expecting those to actually kill the dudes, but maybe wound them, and it did actually wound one. Yep, they're definitely... Oops. They're going to be making a push through here soon, because they... Ow. And again. Yeah, I'm not doing that well on this run.
Hold the line. Hold the line.
Okay. Oh. Oh, sorry, dude. I thought you were an enemy all the way out there. The good news is I don't think you can actually team kill people, but you do lose points for team damage like that. We still have this part of the trench held, at least, so... And it looks like there's a ton of dudes on the other side, so we should be good for the most part. Sorry, dude, ain't gonna pull no shrapnel out of your teammate. Winks, okay. Says, that was from Ultraref Sun 9. Yeah, fair enough on that one. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our push. Dude got stuck in the shell hole there. Ow. Sorry. Vittoria Vaglio says, at my high school I feel left alone. Everyone is PC and anti-Trump at all costs. What should I do about it? I think, unfortunately, you really do have to just keep your head down with the way things are, I think. Because there's definitely cases of people getting violent or being violently politically correct these days, unfortunately. And if the entire school is that way, then that's probably a chance that means the school itself might side with the PC crowd, even if you're in the right on it. Okay, so I've made it to the edge here. Ah! Another another split moment of a second, and I'd have had him. But fair enough, I guess. Ooh. Well, at least we have the first trench, so we are ahead on them. But they have a lot. I keep running into a lot of players, apparently, so I guess this server is a lot fuller than normal. Alright, this is... I think I could probably take... Here we are. Machine gun. Ukrainian Fedora says, I voted for Trump on Saturday despite dealing with an ear infection. Thankfully, I have been taking antibiotic capsules ever since. I even saw a small Trump convoy go through my street yesterday. JC says, I have friends that don't agree with me on politics and we don't care, but I know the USA is obsessed with the election right now. Unfortunately, yes it is. Ukrainian Fedora says, Trump, American, black, back the blue flags and all. And also, they were even blaring their horns all the way down the road. I believe Trump has the chance to turn New York purple. Not guaranteed, but it's possible. That would be very interesting, yes. That would be very interesting. Well, we definitely have a foothold on this trench for now. All right. I know you're there. There we go. I know there's at least one more left. Anyways, Vittoria Vaglio says thank you for the words you said. You're welcome. And I think everyone else will say welcome as well. Ardent Gamer says evening. Evening, Ardent Gamer. Ukrainian Fedora says you're welcome. Yep. Ultra Sun says foothold on this trench. Careful, you might get trench foot. I'm not thinking in this weather because... Oh, dear. There we go. Ooh, I got Lieutenant Dan. JC says, isn't New York like a democratic stronghold? Yes, it is. And Ardent Gamer says, nice to Ultra Sun, and Ultra Sun says, thanks. Curiously, they actually had some interesting things to try to prevent trench foot, if I remember correctly. Like, if I remember correctly, one of the things they used to do is they would... Ooh. Ow. But what they used to do is they actually used to have... they used to issue the men with a special lotion made out of whale oil, I believe, that they would apply to their boots and putties and whatnot to keep... to make them watertight, to try to keep the water out and keep them from getting an infection that way. Which I think might actually be another thing that the Death Corps of Krieg references from World War I, because they also have special chemicals that they place on their uniforms as protective measures against the ailments. Ardent Gamer says, dude, the ragdoll in this game is sick. Wait until you see the gore system in this game. It's also quite something. Ukrainian Fedora says, wait, Dan, where's Ron and Billy? Vittorio Vaglio's message has been restricted. I'm not sure why. And Ardent Gamer says... Preventions of trench foot would typically include heightened resting areas and common lower body drying, at least as far as I know. I mean, that makes sense. They would do that as well. Maybe it was just a British thing, the whole whale oil thing. It might have been. But I know they did do that as well. Ooh. Also, of course, though, trench foot also tended to happen in the wintertime because it's partly, if I remember correctly, partly the result of hypothermia due to being in a waterlogged area in freezing temperatures for an extended period. It's still an infection, but it's also partly that as well, or that made it susceptible to it. Ultra of Sun says, learning about history while playing video games. Every teacher imposted brew. Yep. The fight for this trench has been absolutely interesting, to say the least. Ow. I was killed by Raging Mozart. JC says, that's why I love this channel. Finney and Davey says, Trenchfoot is horrible. Got it myself, went on a long hike and had to walk through tons of bogs. I might have caught a mild case of it myself in the past, because I tend to work outside, and I have worked in freezing rain conditions, certainly. Let's see. Ardent Gamer says, unbelievable. Video games only teach people violence and incites rioting and murder. Penny Davies, good God, the itching. Ardent Gamer, it's common knowledge. Jokes aside, I wish there were more World War I games. I agree. Good news is, with the success of Verdun and Battlefield 1, I think there are more World War I games coming. I mean, we've already got Beyond the Wire. I know there's another IL-2 game that's coming out that's World War I themed, IL-2 Flying Circus, which is ironic given the IL-2 is not a World War I aircraft, but a franchise name. And to be fair, the guys that make IL-2, the latest IL-2 games, are the same guys that made Rise of Flight, which is another World War I flight sim. And if I remember correctly, there's also now a World War I themed tank crew management game, which is nice. Huh. I know you there. Oh, it's the same guy with the flamethrower as before. Unfortunately. A lot of players in this area. I seem to have gotten myself quite the nice little position. Well, if we can hold this, I think we actually pretty much have this match in the bag. We just have to keep holding this. In fact, we don't even need to do that. We're pretty much guaranteed to win as is. I hear you there. We actually held it long enough we could, in theory, attack again. Nice.
Outstanding, boys. Out-fucking-standing.
Ardent Gamer says Beyond the Wire looks sick, but it only has 3 maps. That is, I think that's true, but it is in early access right now. Finney and okay, Ultra Sun says, there was a point where I wanted more World War I games as well, but with the state of the industry, I don't have any faith on the big budget title being respectful. Well, that's fair enough, but that's also part of the reason why I would... Let's go with... Let's do Champagne. Oh, I guess we're going Argonne. Okay, fair enough. So, anyways, but yeah, with the way the indie market is doing, I do think that that's an avenue for more World War One games, at least. And JC says, and with 1917 movie as well, it may inspire more movies. Yes, good point. If you ask me, Phineas Davies says, if you ask me, World War One was much worse than World War Two. Sir, I would argue to fight in it. You could definitely make that case. Let's see. We'll do the Puelu. Or I could just switch out to a Puelu squad. Here we go. There we are. Looks like they've got a 1915 uniform, so we get ourselves... We'll go with the Lebel. Anyways, so let's see some more of these comments before I head out. JC says, Finian, I couldn't really say if one was worse than the other, but World War II got more people killed. Yes, it did. Finian Davies says, I know, but the combat was not as brutal or grinding, well, except for Stalingrad. Good points. I love the names in this game. Alright. Ultra Sun says, 1918, the Great War rages on a battlefield, is lost in the Argonne. Under fire, there's nothing they can do. There's no way they can get a message through. Suffer heavy losses. The battle carries on. Liberty Division standing strong. And at Finney and Davies, not every place was Verdun or Passchendaele. It's a World War after all. Not to downplay the Horde, just saying both had plenty, and it's hard to compare them. JC says, yes, it was in the Sino-Japanese War, and Yugoslavia reached a level of violence I haven't seen in any other war. Alright, we are in position. Oh. So we've got ourselves rifle, a short knife, and some grenades. And it looks like the Germans have brought out a flamethrower again. They definitely have this area under lockdown. A Ukrainian Fedora says, the undead corpse of JFK. Oh my, spicy. Yep. A lot of people pick names like that in this game. Like, I know I actually have a screenshot because it used to be, there was a point where it used to be while you were waiting, you could spectate on what your teammates were doing. And had a dude apparently named his character Jesus Christ. So when I was spectating, it said following Jesus Christ. That made me laugh. So let's go ahead and get into position here. Okay, now I have to reload, which is going to take a while because this is a label. Ukrainian Fedora says dims in the distance go re. And JC and Finney and Davies laugh. Yep. Oh dear, that was a Gabal Ladung. Looks like, I wonder if I can actually switch out to another role. Nope, I cannot. Well, no, I have to. Sorry, I know he's not going to allow it because he's probably got the RSC or something. Which, to be fair, the RSC is an absolute god gun in this game. Still does not make you invincible because any gun can basically one-shot you. Oh dear. Oops. Finney and Davies says, I remember an epic game of Class IC Battlefront 2 where we had a player called Jesus Christ on one team and Satan on the other. Yep. Guten Trom says, hello, how are you fine, gentlemen? How are you fine, gentlemen? We're doing okay. Doing a live stream of Verdun, actually. Well, now we can attack. And JC, or Vittorio Baglio says, if you mind, Trump is live right now. Okay. JC says, Gabalt Lung, still in use in the early years of World War II, until more advanced anti-tank weapons were introduced. And Kevin McCree says, wouldn't be such a bad game if they didn't restrict you for every little thing you want to do. I'm not sure what you mean. If you're talking about how they've set up the role system, it's an interesting system and has its ups and downs, true. On the other hand, it's at least effective at preventing half your team from becoming snipers or machine gunners like in Battlefield 1. Time to reload. Armies, Kepis, they've been doing live streams too with blood. Okay. Kevin McRae, for instance, they want you to mount the MG where they want you to mount it. Yeah, it is kind of interesting how they've done the MG. I will grant you that. It is bizarre. The system is, I think it's not really intentionally, it's just janky how they've implemented it. But let's see, I could actually switch to, yes I can. So we can actually bring out the Show Shaw just to see how show you guys how it works. Now the good news is with the Show Shaw, you can legitimately fire this thing from the hip. Which, to be fair, the Show Shaw was designed with the concept of walking fire end bind. But the way it's janky is because it's determined somewhat by what stance you're in when you decide to deploy it. Ow. Guten Term says, I think Red Orchestra Rising Storm 2 does a fine job with preventing everyone being an MG or sniper. That is true, they do that. And I think that's similar to how Beyond the Wire does it as well, a little bit. There we are. See, it can be a little bit janky, admittedly. Okay, so that's just a wounded dude. That's... There we go. That dude got me fair and square. JC says that gun was awful. It's... I will grant you this. The Shosha does have a pretty terrible reputation. Although, from what I understand, part of the problem was the Shosha... part of the problem is the Shosha has an evil twin brother. The 30-06 variant that the US had to deal with. And the 30-06 variant was apparently so god-awful that the US very rarely, if ever, actually used that particular version in combat. And you'll know the difference because the magazine on the 30-06 version is very different from this one. This, don't get me wrong, the French Shosha still has a fair share of flaws. Slow rate of fire being one of them, the low magazine count, the low magazine being another one, of course, and the reliability of the magazines themselves is notorious because they're open on the sides there. And the gun also tends to overheat after, I think, 300 rounds or so if you fire it just continuously. Of course, that's not actually what it was designed to do, but... On the other hand, it's, from what I understand, it was extremely accurate. And also, given that it was one of the first of its kind, you can kind of give them some slack for that, I think. Oop. Gutentarm says, my only problem with Verdun is gas. Like, it does nothing, barely obstructs your vision. And the gas mask doesn't affect your stamina that much. Well, it actually, what's interesting in Verdun is the gas actually is dependent on what level your squad is that ordered the gas. So early squads will have tear gas, which will mostly just affect your vision. But then you upgrade to chlorine, and then phosgene, and then finally mustard. And they become much more powerful the more your squad levels up. But yeah, given that the first gas and the kind that you'll most likely see is just good old-fashioned tear gas, I can kind of see it making sense where it would just affect your vision. Ah, well. Okay, time to reposition. And I got shot by a machine gunner. Ironic. Ultra of Sun says not only level of squad, but also type of squad. Well, that's true. On the other hand, it's only really, if I remember correctly, only certain, yeah, that's true, but only certain squads can actually call in gas in the first place. I think it's specifically the assault squads that do that. The other choices are, depending on the type of squad, you can call in a mortar or artillery strike, you know, so the normal stuff. Smoke, which later upgrades into white phosphorus. And if I remember correctly, there's also heavy artillery strikes as well for defensive squads. Diego Flores says, have you tried Tannenberg? Yes, I have. In fact, we could actually make this a twofer if you really want. However, okay, so since everything else is already picked, I might as well... I was thinking of picking maybe a... Ow. Yeah, fair enough. Guttentrom says, the gas mask should limit your stamina somewhat, because if you ever used one, you know it sucks to breathe through one. Yep, I do think that is true. I think that should be something. That is, yeah. And Ultra Sun says, Verdun is better than Tannenberg. They both have their ups and downs. Okay, now time to make a mad dash and... Ow. Die immediately. Okay, so the right, or the left side of the trench is getting taken, so we just need to take the right side of it. I do like the fact that they change up the gas mask that you use depending on which nation you are. So there's a lot of Germans there that I need to clear out. Let's see, how can I do that? We'll go with the Berthier. And it's the long rifle version too. Nice. But it still only has 3 shots. Guttentrom says, that felt like a legitimate World War I experience. Go over the top, get shot, and die. Tannenberg is more dynamic, as the Eastern Front was more fluid battlefield. Yep. It looks like we've actually managed to take the trench. And I kind of regret now not having a Shosha. Yes, I just said that. Another dude down. Oop. Okay, so we definitely have some dudes that have this area under lockdown. I'm not sure where they are, but they are here. Ow. Ultra Sun says, let's go with the Berthier. A wild Ian McCullum appears. Yep. And Kevin McCree says, I'm going to have to try your 1918 game again. World War I haven't played it in a long time. We are actually, hopefully we should be able to get a new update out before too long. So I hope you'll enjoy it. The new update is mainly going to focus on the early part of the war. But we do have a few new factions coming, and... Oop. Now we have to attack, because I did take the trench. And I am going for the Shosha again. Actually, no, I'm not. Anyways, so let's see. Ultra of Sun says, I regret not having a show Shah. No real soldier ever in any war. Well, the Belgians actually did have their own version of the show Shah, by the way, and that one was actually considered to be pretty good. Surprisingly. Gutentrom says there are surprisingly few explosions in your match. Yeah, and something weird must be going on with that. A lot of people must not have grenades right now. Ultra of Sun says, wait, what 1918 game? A mod I work on called Battlefield 1918. It came out originally way back in 2004, but it's been getting a number of updates, of course. Latest one from just last year. And we've got a new update coming this year as well, if we're lucky. Well, the squad keeps leveling up, so that's something. So now our artillery strike should be a bit more effective, among other things. Ultra of Sun says, oh, Battlefield. I haven't bought one since BF2. This is, well, yeah, this is a mod. It's for the original 1942, so... Which is good, because, well, the good news with 1942 is it's free now, so that's... Artillery is danger close. Yeah, we're getting shot all right. All right. Ultra of Sun says, guess I'll have to check that out. Thank you. This match has been... This match has been a little bit on the wild side, but we seem to be retaking the trench, I say, as I die again. Anyways, JC says 1942 has a level of freedom of what you can do that I haven't seen anywhere else. Ukrainian Fedora says season remembers 1918. Gasco Bert. Trump says, have you ever noticed every nation that is well known for making chocolate are also some of the best in inventing, developing, and producing great quality weapons? Belgians, Swiss, Germans. Good point. We got each other. All right. If we can take this, we can win. If not, it's going to be a tie. Come on, boys. We can do this. So there's definitely a machine gunner around.
Cover closing.
7, 6. We're not. We might just make it. Oh. Well, that was a tie, but a close tie. We almost had it.
On leur fera payer ça.
Gutentrom says there seems to be a weird correlation between weapons and chocolates. Ultra of Sun says I haven't thought about that. Clearly, we need to ban chocolate as well after we finish banning firearms. Finney and Davey says ban chocolate and I ban your life. Ultra of Sun says your free trial of life has ended. Alright, so what are we going to do now? Can we now try Champagne, or are we going to go to Artois? We actually can do Champagne! Hooray! I actually think this time I'm going to switch it up and go for the Germans for one round. An empty slot. Oh, it's been filled. I'll go with this dude. Oh, he's a bigger team. Okay, yeah, okay. In that case, I guess I can go Tommy's. Now, let's see what roles we can pick. Ooh, we can pick up the Webley Frosbury, which I think I will do. For those who aren't familiar, this one is actually an auto revolver, which is an interesting little piece of kit. Anyways. Let's see. Swedish Mafia Meme Corporation says, oh, I remember this game. Gutentrom says, that's the worst free trial of all. It's expensive, I can't do anything, and it tastes, smells, and feels awful for most part of the time. Kevin McRae says, is there a big multiplayer base for your 1918 game still? The multiplayer base is not very big, admittedly, but we do have single-player support for a lot of the maps. And there's... I forget how many maps exactly have bot support in them, but I do know that... we have, I think, 120 some maps at least right now. There we go. That is the sound of a flamethrower. And that flamethrower is down. He missed, but that guy didn't. Alright. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff in the mod, though, so... For example, I know you guys were talking about about the Eastern Front and the Western Front and whatnot. We not only have both of those, we also have the fighting in the Italian Alps, the Balkans, the Middle East, with multiple areas of fighting there as well. We even have some of the fighting that took place in both the East Asia Pacific as well as in Sub-Saharan Africa. So Leto Vorbeck and his boys, for example, are in the game. In fact, last I checked, we were up to something like 19 playable armies in Battlefield 1918. With both early and late war variants for a good number of them, and even winter variants in some cases. So once again, I killed the same dude that shot me. Well, this is going to go into them having a foothold, I'm sure, but so long as we can actually kick them out, we can then launch an attack, and that should be good. Come here, little flamethrower. There you are. Oh, we're Anzacs, apparently. I didn't notice. Okay. I thought we were playing as the British, but oh well. There we go. Guten Trump. Okay, so Ultra Sun mentions massive variety of battlefields. Stop it! I can only get so erect. Yep. We even have also Guten Tram says I've always found amusing on how Southeast Africa, Germany lasted till the last days of the war surrounded. They actually lasted till after the armistice. The last Battle of World War I, if I remember correctly, took place on the in sub-Saharan Africa and was a German victory. So we can actually play as the Belgian squad, apparently, if enough of the team decides to do that. There we go. Speaking of which, the Belgians are one of the factions that are getting a little bit of an update in the upcoming update for 1918. We're giving them proper early war uniforms, which will be nice. And some new maps. As far as the... I'll go ahead and, by the way, tell you guys of the other new factions, because they're already publicly available what they are. The new factions that we are actually adding to the version 3.3, I believe it is, are the French Zouaves, so African colonial troops, and New Zealand. They're the two new factions we're adding. Oh, he got me. Kevin McCree says, wow, 120 maps, well, I have to try it again. Yeah, it's actually getting to the point where we're actually starting to run out of new factions to add. Oops. Canvas Colton says, I wonder if they will be adding Sikhs. Let's see. Maybe later on. I know we already have British India as a playable faction. Because we have them on a number of maps that make sense. JC says the Africa Corps was formed, taking advice of German generals that was in charge of Africa in World War I as well. That's interesting. Okay, so the Germans did actually take the trench, and now we have to re-counterattack. Oop. Wow, they actually forced us out. So we might actually lose this one. They actually... That's my fault. That's 100% my fault. At least it's just a smoke screen, so... Alright, so here's what I think the plan is. They can't shoot us if they can't see us very well, so what we'll do is we'll wait here and... Yeah, that's my fault, 100%. Gutentrom says, Sikhs and Scots were the boldest people I ever saw. One goes with cloth on their head after everyone was using steel helmets still. Scots use male dresses. Yep. They've got a recon squad somewhere. There we go. Ow. So they apparently are definitely in the trench. That's a problem. Ultra Sun says, and British officers don't duck. Ow. That dude's got an MP18, so that's a problem as well. They might actually take this trench as well. That's... Yeah, we're in for a rough time, it looks like. I see you there. Playing chasey, chasey, catchy, catchy, kissy, kissy with this dude. Okay, we got 2 of them. 3 of them. We got 5 of them that time. Nice. All right. The train must have kept taking the shots on that one. There we go. All we have to do is keep holding this trench and we should be good. Oop. I think that dude was a flamethrower as well. They're definitely going to make a push here if they've dropped the smoke on us. Because that was not me that did it that time.
We're not bloody giving up, fellas! Hold the line!
Alright, so let's see. Ultra Sun did say to me, do you know if the German K-98 is sighted wrong in Verdun like it was in real life? I'm not entirely sure. There we are. It would be the AZ variant, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, wow, that was... All right. Gutentrom says, I barely played Verdun, but if you call gas on a smoke screen, can you still see the gas? I think so. Ultra Sun says, it's been ages since I last played, and Gutentrom says, like they did quite often in real life. It makes sense. They'd also deploy regular shells in real life as well. Partially because it would drive you to, of course, take cover. Problem is, the gas tends to seep into shell craters and whatnot. So if your gas mask wasn't particularly effective, which was a problem early on in the war, then yeah, you were in a bit of a rough situation. Apparently, soldiers, by the way, could tell if a shell was a HE shell or a gas shell by the noise it made when it actually landed, too. Which is something I think Beyond the Wire probably should consider implementing, because I think they've made both the shell types sound the exact same, when historically it was an important difference for soldiers to know. Pretty sure there's a... No, don't go that way! Ow. Alright. Okay, so Gutentrom says, Lindy Beige is a great channel, but he gets too biased sometimes, especially when it comes to Britons. Fair enough. Lindy Beige is an interesting history channel to watch, definitely. He, with his ups and downs, certainly. There's another channel that I've been seeing a little bit of work on. I am something of a fan of, called Draknell, I think his name is, who does naval warfare mostly. Alright, so once we're still in a foothold situation here because we cannot kick them out of the trench entirely for some reason. Ow. Well, we get to see some of the gore mechanics in game. There's a lot of Germans over there, so we clearly need to take care of them. Nolan Farmer says, Mark Felton has the best World War II channel. Yeah, he's pretty high up there, definitely. Okay, that should hopefully clear them out. We got two of them. Unfortunately, there's another MP-18 roaming around. Ow. That is gas. Let's fall back. I know you're there. Ultra of Sun says, also shout out to CNR Arsenal for excellent coverage of World War I guns. Yes. That is definitely true. They do excellent work. Oh, that was a grenade, I think.
Enemies incoming!
Gutentrom says, I like how Germans have no sense of humor. French were first used gas in World War One, but they used tear gas. The Germans, on the other hand, just went, oh, gloves off, are off, I see. Finney and Davey says, would you like to see more games, films set in the Napoleonic era? I feel that's a time period in history that hardly gets any attention these days. I'd actually like that. As far as the World War One comment, though, on the gas, what's interesting is the Germans actually decided their little plan was actually a loophole. Because what they did was they used it, they released it from cylinders, which was technically a loophole because in the, because as you guys know, the French used grenades and whatnot, but the actual rules was you weren't actually allowed to fire it from shells, was what the Hague Convention very specifically said. So they were trying to use the loophole of, well, we didn't actually fire it from shells, therefore it's not a war crime. That was their actual excuse, at least in 1915 when they started doing it. But once they started using phosgene and stuff like that, that required the use of shells to actually deliver effectively, yeah, at that point, they absolutely just were ignoring the Hague Convention openly. Grenades, grenades everywhere. Ultra Sun says, to Gutentrom, German humor is no laughing matter. Finney and Davies says, always remember, a war crime's not a war crime if you never declare war. Another good point. I think I've actually heard of cases where that's been done as well. There's Germans all over the place here. And we can actually attack now. We finally drove them out of the trench. It only took most of the match. Come on. What was that? Gutentrom says, quoting to Ultra Sun, quoting Soviet Wombalesi, fine taste, sire. Finney Davies says, laughing track. Yumao says, war crimes are only war crimes if you lose and can't sell your research to the winner. Ultra Sun says, Two Gutentrom got me there, mate. Alright, if we can actually take and hold this trench back, we can actually force them to a draw. And I was killed by a laugh out loud. Come on, grenade. Get him. Alright, so we got ourselves a foothold now. We just need to push. Ow. I know there's a German there. That's a grenade. Well, this is a defeat. But well played to the enemy team. GG if there ever was one, to be fair. Apparently I was still the best squad mate somehow. Anyways, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and call it, guys. Been at it for just shy of 2 hours. I think that's a good place to call it. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what sort of comments we got. Gutentrom says, yeah, but that just makes your war crimes into crimes against humanity if you don't declare war, which is technically a tiny bit worse. Unless you're North Korea, then you get away with it. Finian Davies, well, it can't be a crime against humanity if you... Alright. 12th dimensional thinking, JC says true. And Gutentrom says, but nowadays there's always a pesky reporter somewhere quoting a friend of mine who worked on the intelligence industries. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and call it, guys. It's been fun seeing you guys on. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream. In any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.